Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be teaching you how to cut an overlapping top. It's going to be an illustration. Okay, so since it's an illustration, I'll be using a brown paper and I'll just reduce the size of whatever measurement I'm using just so you actually understand. Okay, so what we have here is I'm just marking the shoulder and the neck measurements. Like I said, I reduced the measurement, so if you're actually making this, you can use a neck depth of 4, a neck width of 4, and you take your shoulder and then your armhole. So what I'm using here, since it's an illustration and since it's a small paper, I'm using a neck width of 2 and a neck depth of 3. So for yours, you can use 4 4. So I'm just going to connect this line to get the perfect circle line. So the perfect circle neck rather for the style. And then your armhole, depending on the body shape or the size, you can use 8, you can use 8.5, you can use 7. But since it's a brown paper and illustration, I'll be using 6. So I'm just going to shape this out like this. Yeah, and there you have it. So whatever measurements you're taking, you add an allowance, an extra 2 inches allowance to it. No matter the bust measurement, you can just use only the bust measurement. You don't really need other measurements. So I'm just noting there that you add in an allowance, and all the way down should be the same thing all the way down. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the neck. We're going to cut out the armhole. Yes, so you can cut out your armhole like that, and then you can also deepen your neck, your shoulder rather, by ½ inch. So you slant it just like this. Slant the shoulder just like this, and you cut it out. So to give it a balance on your shoulder. So we're going to notch the center line, so it should be easy for us to understand. So that point that I notched, that's where we're going to have that curve down, just like it is in style. So it's both ways, but we're going to be doing the first curve, then we'll do the second one. So just going to use your curve. Well, depends on how curvy you want it to be. If you want it to be a very deep curve, you can make it a very deep curve. If you want it to be slightly curved, not too obvious, not too curvy. So we're just going to do a slight curve, just so you see, and make sure that it's getting to the edge of the other shoulder. So there you have that. So we're just going to get another paper, and we're going to place this in the opposite direction. Yeah, we're going to cut this out again from this brown paper. So remember that the style has 2 overlapping curves in the front. So this is the second curve. So when you're using your fabric, it's going to be longer than this, and you're going to use your appropriate measurements. I'm just showing you an illustration so you get to see how it's going to look like. Well, you can also choose to use your brown paper first, so you understand it before you cut your fabric, so as not to waste it or spoil it. So well done, and this is how it's going to look like. You can see So if you're using this, you don't really need to use an interface. You can just use both to turn the neck. And I don't really like how the curve is, so I'm just going to like deepen the curve a bit. So the beauty will come out, the overlapping parts will show very well. And remember, whatever you're doing on one, you're doing on the other, so you'll be equal and perfect. So it'll be equal and perfect. So there we go. We're just going to trim off that excess to the edge. Yeah, that's it. So you can see this. This is your final look. This is how it's going to be when you have done cutting your fabric. That's your neck, your armhole, and the curve beneath, the overlapping curve. So either way, it overlaps. And if I'll be doing this, I'll probably love to use two fabrics, maybe a plain and a pattern, just make it pop out a little. So if you want to use any fabric of your choice, it's still okay. And just in case you want to pleat the shoulders, you can do that, but remember you add additional inches to your shoulder measurement. So if your shoulder is 14, you can add additional 2 inches, so it will be 16, just so you can pleat that side of the shoulder. Okay, that's all for now. Kindly subscribe. Bye. Till next time.